Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Magdalene Rising Summit. I am super excited for our next guest. Anca, will you say your last name for me? Because I'm sure that, say your whole name the way that you would say.
Hey, it's Anca Lavinia Flora.
Anca Lavinia Flora. We are so happy to have you here with us today. Um, and just let us know about the type of work that you are up to right now. What is it that you are doing? Introduce yourself to our group.
Thank you for the invite, first of all. It's an honor to be here in
Oh,
celebration of Mary
actually, you
Magdalene.
know what? I'm going to stop and start over because my thing left. I'm just stopping the recording. Can we start over, you guys? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Magdalene Rising Summit. We are so happy that you are here with us today, and we are so happy to have our next guest, Anca Lavinia. Say your last name
Flora.
again, Floria. Floria? Floria. Thank you.
Flora, which is from flower, actually.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much for making the time to be here with us today. We are so happy to have you. I know it takes a lot for people to show up and to be here, and we're just very, very grateful that you also want to share this love and empowerment teachings with the women everywhere. So thank you to everyone that is here today with us.
Thank you so
Um,
much for inviting me. Thank you for this beautiful space that I feel I'm received in. I am so honored to answer actually her calling because this is something very unexpected that just popped out in my email. And I was like, oh my God, you're like here again. I have this history of celebrating her almost every year for a few years
or
now.
isn't your birthday is coming up also, so
My
you'd like to
birthday, yeah,
celebrate?
yeah, it's July 13th, and I was actually born on a Friday, July 13th. So I'm all about witch DNA, and I really, really love that part of my mission and my work.
Well, let me
Um,
just give everyone your little bio so that they know who you are and what you do. Anca Lavinia is a modern alchemist, a medicine woman, and an intuitive astrologer. Author of the Magdalene Code, she leads with truth, devotion, and integrity and supports women with their empowerment. Over 10 years of expertise in profound inner transformation, she loves to hold sacred spaces for women to uncover their true identity, their inner wisdom, and truth for a life of freedom, a life of self trust and courage to fully express themselves. Anca lives close to nature and integrates shamanic work with sound healing, astrology, somatics, and deep energetic and emotional alchemy. She's here to show women a different way, and she's going to share with us some of those practices today. The way of the whole woman that accepts herself fully and dares to be different in a world full of boxes and conditions. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. What a gift.
yes.
So let's dive into that witch wound because
Oh,
I also identify very much as witchy and have always identified myself as a witch, even as a little girl. And then learning about Mary Magdalene, all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, no, I'm a priestess. So
mm,
let's, and, and my story, my truth is just been made to be native.
mm.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you come to this place? How did you find your path here?
Well, probably as a lot of other stories, I went from hell and back. So, my first part of my life, let's say beginning like when I was 14, it was the hell part of my life until I was like 25 or something like that. So I experienced a lot of like dark energies. I was almost an addict. I had very bad relationships. All of the, let's go through that because it's fun. And then I was really fascinated about psychology and how people work and how their mind works. So I couldn't resist but go to the university to study psychotherapy. And while doing that, in a way that is like the universe's way, angel therapy appeared for me just out of nowhere.
Mm.
So that was my beginning with like discovering the entire energetic world and all this like beautiful magic going on, that we're more than humans and all of that. And then after like a few years of doing like angelic work, channeling and courses and circles and all of that, I started wondering, actually it was when I met my husband, that I started wondering, what does a woman mean? What is it like to be a woman? You know, what is it like to actually be a feminine woman? I was like, had no idea, even though I was 30. And I told my husband, I think I'm gonna discover that with you and together, you know, in this relationship. And this was the beginning. And then after a couple of years, a mentor appeared in my way, like again out of nowhere, and she was teaching the womb awakening mysteries. So I went down that path. And during that path, I discovered, let's see, more than before, Mary Magdalene. What I want to say is that it was a concept and an idea before of this. I knew about her, but
Yeah.
now it became a personal experience, and it became something that like blew my mind, and it became like a path and a calling and a mission. And even though I'm not like always talking about her out there, like my color is red, I'm always on the red rose path, I'm always like summoning her, talking to her, having her in my circles all the time, like she's my sister, always here and forever. And I found out that I also had lives when I actually lived as one of her disciples, and also met like Joshua at that time. So that explained to me why I felt this very strong connection with Joshua and Magdalene since forever, since I was a
Yeah.
kid. And I didn't know, and at first I thought like, who am I to, you know, like how can I say that? That's like an abomination. People will judge me. I can't even think of that, you know, to say it out loud. And then as time passed, and she was always like here with me, initiating me, opening the way, showing me where and how. And as you're talking about the red roses there, I remember my holiday last year in Rome. Everywhere there were red roses and red roses petals, like subway, on the street, on people's bags, on in windows, like everywhere. I even like cried when I went to Assisi and I went down in the church and I started seeing like actual red roses placed there by someone. And I'm like, I can't believe you're here as well. Like, my God.
I'm going to just insert here because I had everyone fill out a form with the interviewers, and you wrote to me about the roses. And I happened to be at my parents' home today in front of their roses. And you said, oh, when roses are how she speaks to me, and when roses, especially rose petals. And I moved my parents' tree, my rose, and I got covered in rose petals before I even looked at that, what it said again in your chart. I was trying to, or in your question. And I was like, oh my gosh, we are so being divinely held here today by
Yeah,
Mary,
yeah.
which is so wonderful. So I love how you brought up circle as a circle facilitator. I love how you said that she is there with you and the all the time as a sister. Will you expand on that?
Like my skin crawls and I'm like shivering from head to toe, and this is like happening to me all the time. Actually, now I'm getting emotional, and if I cry, well, that's it. I'm a woman. It's normal. Before going live here with you, I actually invited her. I went and put on some rose oil because I love using rose oil as well, and I also use that in my ceremonies and in my women's circle to anoint each other, or I anoint them depending on the context. And I honor her every time by having like the red candle and the white candle. For me, it's the Red River and the White River. It's Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. It's like the sacred blood and the ovulation. It's all that feminine represents, the red and white entangled. And I always have like a red rose or more red roses on my altar, because in my every circle I have like a center altar. And I invite her every time, but she's the one that kind of like makes her presence felt more than I call her. And sometimes she also makes her presence felt in my one-to-one, therapies. And I see her with this sparkling red ruby and red petals and red roses all the time. And she's usually coming to work with the womb and to awaken the power of the womb. And also, from my personal experience, I perceive her, because this is something that it's really like very interesting about her, in my experience again, that she's multifaceted. She's not just like one frequency or one energy. And for me, she's a lot about being a feminine disruptor, a fierce feminine leader, an empowered woman, the one that dares, to speak her mind. Because I also work a lot with, throat activations and, vows of silence and all of that. And this goes a little bit into the witch wound. So yeah, she's like always, I'm sensing her coming and doing some work with the wombs of the women in the circle, or gifting them a message, or
Yeah.
different ways.
Just you even saying that, I think I just had a little download myself that we should start calling our woman circles woman circles and get rid of the word man out of there altogether and not use it anymore. And just start a movement for the respelling of the word woman.
Yeah, it's
In
interesting
English,
that
I don't. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting that I've seen like woman
Yeah, and we could
somewhere.
say it just like what I'm going to start doing that right now. Thank you for that.
Oh.
Well, and I love it because it's true that Mary Magdalene has represented all of these parts of women, the empowered women, the whore, the woman who is in the darkness and doesn't get to have her voice heard, and also a woman who is maybe doesn't know, she's just moving forward with her intuition, not realizing how big of a ripple that she sends out into the world with her small actions, that we are still here within her ripple, within the ripple that she started.
I actually was reading from the chapter that I wrote before. I just opened it to see whatever it opens. And before today, and this stuck with me. Mary Magdalene and Joshua imprinted this earth, and now we are remembering and reactivating the codes of the sacred union, the codes of men and women together, feminine and masculine together, because a big piece of this thing is, of this path, of this mission, of this calling, is, making peace with men as
Yeah.
well, going through healing our relationship with the masculine, because there's so much wounding there, including patriarchy and all of that, so that we can rebirth the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And through our small actions and through our small steps taken each day. I was actually today just writing about spirituality and energy, how people perceive these things as being concepts separate from them, or being something there that you do. And instead, for me, spirituality, energy work, and all of this field is a part of who I am, is the
Yeah.
way I live, is my normal. I mean, it's like spirituality infuses humanity and matter, and together in the dance, we walk the earth.
Yeah. When you were just speaking that, I was thinking to myself, in some ways, how the church has made spirituality, like spirituality happens when you enter this door and you're with this person and you do these actions, where I always think spirituality happens when I make my coffee and I think,
Yeah,
here's a dash for energy and here's something to make my day smooth, and I'm just setting my intentions. That's where spirituality really is. It's in the day to day, in the moments of walking forward.
exactly. Exactly. It's like I call it practical spirituality,
Mhm.
as opposite, let's say, from the spirituality that it's all like Zen based and all unicorns and positive thinking and all of that. For me, that's like eek. I can't with that anymore. So I'm like all about let's come back into the human body. Let's come back here on earth. Let's come back and actually feel our hearts, actually feel our wombs, actually doing that deep inner dark shadow work if you want, because there's so much trauma, so many walls, so much grieving and so much pain and so much sadness that our hearts and wombs as women are still keeping there like this. And that's why we are like so unhappy and so like disconnected and so lost and so whatever the world looks like today is because we women were disconnected so brutally from our magic, from our power, from our womb, from our sexuality, from our inner truth. Because I think that all women are witches, all women are
Yeah.
medicine women, all women carry these codes. It's just that we have been disconnected, maybe even back further than the Inquisition times, when the big trauma happened. So today it's like, oh my god, you're a witch, I'm afraid, like, go away. When it's actually, you're also one, and that's a good thing.
It's a
And
good
that's a
thing.
word
And
that
that,
I, yeah,
right, we've been hypnotized by these, like almost the changing of the definition of the words to believe that our truths are negative when they're just our truths and they are our magic. They are our intuition is as important as the mind learning. The gnosis and the knowing go together. They go together.
yes.
Yes.
For me, the knowing is like the first door. I open the door of like knowledge and understanding and connecting the dots from here. But then I go like a layer deeper and I descend, because this is for me the woman's journey, the feminine embodiment journey is about descending and feeling deeply and also sensing deeply. Because as
Mhm.
women, we are sensitive. And the way we walk through, our daily lives, if we were like attuned to ourselves, truly connected, would be in a sensory way. I mean, we
Yes.
all we all feel, we all have intuition, we all like know when something's wrong or off. It's just that we have been disconnected and programmed to not believe that, to not trust that.
Programmed.
Yes.
Programmed. Yes. Programmed.
You're crazy, you're insane, you're hysterical, you're weird, you're like all of those made us doubt ourselves so much. And this is a part of my work with women. Like every time they ask me, what do I think? Or what's my opinion on something? I always go back to them and like, what do you think? What's your opinion? What do you feel about it? Trust it.
I
That's
I
innate
I I
wisdom.
know here we often say like when we and we're in the United, I'm in the United States, and I hear women say all the time, the craziest thing happened to me today. And I'm like, don't say that. Don't say
Yeah.
crazy. Say the wildest thing. Say the most
Most
amazing thing,
magical.
the
Yeah.
most awful thing. But they have taught us through years and years of just societal learning that
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing when we tap into our intuition, and it just is not. Yes. Thank
Not.
you for that. Thank you for that so
It's
much.
it's the path of empowering women again to like show them the way back into their hearts, into their intuition, into their innate wisdom.
Mhm. And
We
so,
know. We know. We just don't believe it yet.
yeah, I just said exactly that. I said, I know this and I know this. Like I was talking about, I know I'm intuitive. I know I'm meant to be a leader. I know I don't believe it.
It's like what
Right?
I said before with Joshua and Mary Magdalene. Like, I know I have a connection. I know what I feel. I know how deep is this thing for me. But it's hard to believe that that is real, as we are so
Program.
identified with our human selves and our, like, let's say, fake or distorted identity, which is the programmed one.
Mhm.
And then when we start remembering and deconditioning ourselves from all the programming, from all we receive, not only from our families but ancestral, then we start slowly coming back into who I really am. And
Yes.
I know who I am. And I know I am a priestess walking this earth. And I know that there's power in my voice. And I know and I feel it. And I'm not fearing it anymore. And I'm not fearing it and keep myself small and dimming my light because I'm afraid of. This is part of the process, actually, healing that witch wound, dealing with that shame and with that fear and with that like freezing inside of the body because it's so organic. And we keep ourselves, small and somewhere behind everyone else, thinking that everyone else is better, smarter, whatever,
More connected, more
more connected,
risen.
more spiritual, more like clairvoyant or whatever,
Yeah.
Um, and then when we deal, because that's also why for me, it's so important, this thing that it's like, let's get real about things. Come on. Let's cut the bullshit and get real. There is a descending, there is shadow work, there is trauma, there is pain, there is all of this, and you cannot long term sustain and integrate the light you're so speaking about without descending first, without
Right.
cleansing and clearing all of this, programming, trauma, conditioning, shame, fear, whatever,
But you just said, I was thinking, like, you cannot bring the darkness forward into the light. You have to bring light to the darkness. You have to shine a light
Yeah,
on all of the
it's a
darkness,
way,
right?
yeah,
So that
yeah.
then you can bring your whole self forward, wholly, the dark and the light. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the alchemy happens. That's where the alchemy happens. When you descend and you meet with your biggest fear, for example, fear of being like judged or killed because you're gonna say the truth. And what would they think about it? You're a witch, you're crazy, you're gonna be whatever, and there's the darkest, scenarios coming up. But like behind the mind, it's the visceral fear,
Hmm.
visceral feeling of fear, and you don't know why. And when you start descending into that fear, into your body, acknowledging it, acknowledging that part of you, I love part work, acknowledging that part of you that is so afraid, and creating that space of, I'm here with you, I see you, I hold you, I validate you, I embrace
You
you.
just have to start to hold space for all
Hold
of the parts of
space.
you.
Yes. And then even the ugliest or the most feared or the monster inside the basement that we all have, that's softening up. That's alchemizing slowly with patience into light, into their gift that they give to us
I
through
love
this
it.
alchemy.
I love it. Thank you so much.
And it's like a
So,
moment of silence.
yeah, big breath on that one. Yes. Just letting that soak into us fully. Um, your daily practices for those who are just coming to Mary, just coming to themselves, just coming to the idea that women have a gift, a special innate power that we have not been tapping into. What would you suggest for the person, just maybe as a daily practice?
Well, first one that is so, so simple and so overlooked all the time is breathing deeply multiple times a day, slowing down and taking deep breaths into the belly. Unclenching the jaw, not staying like this. Leaving the jaw dropping it, and then leaving, and just starting with these deep breaths, even with sounding like a deep
Mm.
multiple times a day. It's such a blessing and it creates such a change. This is one, but then it can also be I'm just, tuning in to see which one wants to come first. It's when you wake up, instead of just jumping out of bed, instead of just being like crazy when the alarm sounds, like take a couple of deep breaths while you're still in bed. And maybe you want to say something like, "Good morning, life," or "Good morning, Anca," or "Good morning, Sandy," or whatever occurs to you
Yeah.
in that
I
moment.
I when I wake up in the morning, I say everything, I say thank you to everything I love. And I will tell you, my linen sheets and my down pillow get the most love of anything in my house.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the
that's
first thing
also,
I
yeah.
recognize them every morning for bringing me and wait and greeting
For me,
me.
that's every night when I go to sleep. I put an emphasis on these two moments of the day, waking up and going to bed, and these make such a big difference when we change a little bit the habits and the routines over there.
Do you think so? Because those are like the liminal moments when we pass between darkness and light.
Yeah, it can be that, and it's also, what I noticed? That women are very tired, have a very poor sleep. They wake up tired. They are always like anxious, and that is because they do not have a soothing, relaxing, slowing down practice and a clearing practice, which is like a must for me. Every time you go to bed, before going to bed, even if you forget to do something like lit a candle or take a shower and talk to the water or whatever, you can intend it because your intention is creating it. So you can just, say to yourself, or if you cannot, you don't trust yourself, ask for whoever you want, like Jesus, Mary Magdalene, whoever you trust and you have a relationship with, to clear your body, your energetic field, of all impurities, of all that is projected upon you during the day, of all that is toxic and it's not yours, or just wash your hands and see that. And that changes everything, the way you sleep, the way you wake up, the way you feel in the morning. And before going to bed, I love to do what you do in the morning. Like, I'm always thanking for the sheets, for the softness, for the comfort, for the silence, for the peace, for the room, for all the things, small things. And I go to bed like that after doing my clearing practice. So those are simple, simple
Simple.
and
When you were
useful
just saying,
things.
when you wash your hands, like just that idea of when you wash your hands, if you were like everything that I, don't need up to that's not serving
Whatever's
me,
not mine, all that
whatever's
is
not
not
mine.
mine.
Yeah. And when I was a massage therapist, I would wash all the way to up
Yeah.
to then just let it go, shake it, send it away.
Shaking, another simple practice.
Another
Shaking,
simple
just
practice.
shaking the body whenever you feel like super, heavy, or whenever you feel you need to like decompress a little bit, detention a little bit, just shake the body.
Shake and do and be intentional. Like I'm letting this go, the two together, the somatics and the ideas of it. Yes. I believe that you have a wonderful clearing practice that you're going to share with us.
Clearing practice, okay.
Or like, well, what do you want to, are you, or like, were you going to do a little activation clearing? What is it that what you're
What I'm
bringing?
gonna
My
offer
goodness,
is
yumminess. Are
actually,
we kidding?
yeah, it's actually an activation, and it'll be like a transmission from Mary Magdalene. I'm gonna connect to her and ask her to like pour her. This is what I felt before connecting with you today. Like, she's gonna pour some codes and some frequencies today, to activate this power and remembrance for women, to revive, this. Again, it's this word that comes so often. The past year, I observed power and empowerment is like so big these days for women, because we were silenced for so long. We were oppressed for so long. We were kept in the dark for so long. So now it's time for us, to remember, so that through our remembering, men remember as well, and we can come together. So it's going to be a transmission that I'm going to let just be, and flow. I'm a very intuitive person. I channel a lot, so I don't know what's gonna come up. We're gonna see and experience it live.
We are so excited.
I'm gonna take my drum.
I'm gonna unpin me so that you get the whole screen no matter what goes on while you do this for us. What a gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I invite everyone watching and receiving this to just, take a couple of deep breaths to relax into the body, to soften up a little bit, to come back with your attention inwards, and to just maybe set your intention to receive the codes, the frequencies, the activations that follow. You don't need to make sense of anything. You don't need to solve anything. You don't need to understand anything. Just be and let it pour and let it flow and let it activate you. Hiya shahata hata wa na ya kata sahiya na wa. Hiya na hiya shahata na hata na hata ya na hata wa ya na hata sa. Hey na heya na ho shata ya na kata sanaya hata o heya na heya shaya na hata wa na ya hata o na Magdaiya hata ya na hiya shaya haya haya ni hata sa o aniya ya hata na hata ya shia kana wa na hata ya na meya shania hata ya na wa na ya eya na hata shia o ya hata ya na na sa hata wa eya na ya shata wa ya kata wa hata na Anahi, hey Anahi, hey Anahi, hey Anahi, hey Anahi. Hey, it's time for empowerment. It's time to rise up. It's time to remember. It's time. It's time. It's time. Rise, woman, rise. Hiana oasha, hiana kasa, haya. Woo! Haya. Woo! Hiana, oh. Oh, oh. Hiana hoshaya kata sana koye nakakaye shana yatata nanao. Hiana. Siyata na wakatashiya niya katasaya yahata wanana hataya. Shaya hanao shinea shaya onao shaya eanasa shaya nasakatiya hataonae manaka ea katasiya nakat mayahatiya shatanahataya naka. Rise, rise, rise. I'm here with you. I'm always here with you. The age has come. Just breathing deeply. Breathing deeply, allowing it to pour, allowing you to awaken the cells that keep the remembrance of your power, of your magic, of your wisdom. And slowly breathing back into consciousness and awareness of your body. No rushing it. Bringing your consciousness back, your energy back, into the fullness of your breath, into your body, into the here and now, becoming aware, slowly moving maybe your toes, your hands, maybe your neck if you feel. And then whenever you're ready, you just can open your eyes and fully be present here and now. And know that this work, it's going to work some further along the days that will come.
That was incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm deeply honored and touched. And I'm still like letting it also, for me, do it.
I know. I'm like, and now we're all gonna go take a nap.
Yeah. Take a nap, drink lots of water, maybe walk out in nature, listen to the needs of your body, listen to the wisdom of your body because your body knows whatever it needs.
So
And I'll be so curious to know more of what's unfolding after this. Whenever something is unfolding, like a dream or like a download
or like a rose, right?
or like
All
a
these
rose.
like a rose and all of the petals that are going to fall from the blooming that happens over this event and the teachings that all the women are going to bring forward. And so it is.
Magic, and so it is. Thank you. I hope.
Thank you so much. I wanted to catch your realness, so I clicked the button again because our authentic emotion, I'm sure there are so many women in tears right now because we feel that so deeply. We don't need to know what the words mean. We don't need to know the fancy language. We just need to feel. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Just feel and allow the emotions, allow the sensations, allow the feeling, allow the tenderness, allow the vulnerability. That's part of who you are as a woman. That's part of your power and of your magic and of your gifts. And it's a blessing to be able to feel it so deeply. Yeah.
Thank you.